Greetings to you and welcome to Quantum Leap TV show, broadcasting live from Aurora, Illinois, the second largest city in Illinois. I'm your host, Toyin Umesiri. I want to welcome you from around the world joining me today. So I'm going to go deeper into the Quantum Leap Human Design, the exclusive setup framework that I created, that I teach on, and I've built a robust program on. So today I want to go into self-mastery. Okay, how do you master yourself? You see, the number one secret of success is actually self-mastery. However, most people in the world, okay, are programmed to attempt to master other people, to control other people, to assess other people, to judge other people, right? And that in of itself doesn't create an healthy internal state, right? If you focus on what other people are doing or what they are not doing, right, and yet it's not like you have influence over them, in of itself, it becomes a negative place for many people to be. So the real secret of success is you, right? How do you master you? How do you understand? Because you cannot master what you don't understand, right? And so I'm going to go deeper into a very advanced concept that would really begin to help you understand more of yourself. So I want you to bring in your thinking cap because we're going to talk about physics, chemistry, biology today. And so this is quite an interesting framework that really also integrates the science of spirituality with behavioral science and energetics as well. Okay, so that's why it's quite comprehensive, is that most times the world of science do not fully grasp the quantum side of us, right? The influence that our spiritual nature has on our natural state, our energetic state, our emotions and feelings, and also behavior, how it influences behavior, what drives behavior, why do we do the things that we do, our belief systems, our value systems, our internal stories that really then impacts, right, how we're exploring the world. So let me start by unpacking what I call internal wealth. You see, your own inner state of being, there's an energetic side of you that carries your thoughts, that processes information. Let me call it the quantum layer, internal state, okay? That is very energetic, that also allows you to process information. Also, it allows you to assess the world outside you, right? So the third dimension, let's call it the outer state, outer quantum, the shared collective state of everyone, right? So you have your internal state and then we have the outside world. Part of what I want you to start understanding is that your internal state, your stories, your beliefs, your values, in a way, activates you, charges you up, and sets you into a state of being that then drives what you do in the world and also how the world interacts with you, right? So how you see yourself, identity, your abilities, your stories, your belief system, right? Those are yours. And every person has their own internal states, their own belief system, their own cultural stories, their own conclusions around life, their own identity in terms of who do they think that they, right? Who do you believe you are, right? Relative to other people, because that's your identifier, okay? So all of that, the key is that you need to know and understand that that is the key that unlocks what you're going to experience in the outer layer, in the real world, is that everybody, we all have a shared internal, right, external state. Collectively, we're experiencing this world together. It's like when I say the super highway, when you are driving on the highway of life, is that the highway is common, but everybody is going in different direction based on the destinations they've set, right? Based on their GPS, their roadmap, based on their intention, okay? Is that even though you're on the highway with your car, with so many people, you also know that people are heading in different directions. People have different right, destinations. And also, people drive differently, right? There are different drivers on the highway. And so, part of the self mastery is this idea that when you're driving on the highway, the key is knowing how to drive. The key is learning how to master your own car. Because the moment you leave that duty post and you attempt to help somebody else drive their car, or you attempt to be talking about somebody else's driving patterns, in a way you lose focus, right? Is that many times people lose focus of their own responsibility, of their own abilities, of the things they can control, right? Versus what other people are doing. Now, if someone is in your passenger is a passenger in your car, then definitely it's like you're you're driving in the same direction. So definitely you need to be in alignment with such people. But just in general, is that self-mastery is a key for you to arrive at your destination, for you to master the skills of success, for you to be more intentional, and for you to win in life. So your internal state, belief system, stories will determine where you're going, right? The skills that you have, right? And also your ability to go from point to point on in life, okay? Without getting stuck, right? Is that if you're driving and you don't have the right roadmap, you can get lost on the highway. And so part of also personal development and inner work is that sometimes humans can get stuck, right? Where they may not have clarity about what they should be doing next or how to arrive at the destination that they desire. So being able to spend more time with yourself will help you unpack all of that. So your inner wealth includes you and all of the skills, talents that you have within you, and also how you invest in your inner wealth, because your value, your perceived value, okay, not as a human, you can't put a premium or a value on human, but the stories you carry, the thoughts that you can share with the world, the knowledge that you have, your own personal power, you can use it to impact and drive influence in the world. And that is what is useful, not just to yourself, but to other people. So when we talk about the concept of value, shared value, it's not just that human value, no. It's more of productivity, creativity, is that what you have within yourself, the skills that you possess, and how useful, right? How you can contribute to other people's well-being, success, because of what you've invested in yourself, because of what you know, the power within you, the abilities you've developed, right? And that is not equal when it comes to assessing other people's contribution in life, is that your contribution, your creativity, your productivity, which is what the world would reward you for or assess, right? Your productivity is not equal, because not everybody is doing the work to contribute in greater measure to life, right? So when you connect this to wealth, health, relationship, success, is that the moment you realize that you have the innate ability to actually see the world better, to improve your own inner capacity, right? To be able to contribute and impact people around you better, you're going to soon realize that you become attractive magnet. When we talk about electromagnetism, right, is that there is an attraction when usefulness, productivity, creativity is higher. Is that when you can contribute to the world in more positive ways, when the things you've created can touch more lives, can be useful to other people, everybody is looking for that. But if you have not developed yourself enough that you can contribute to the world, or you've developed yourself only to a certain level, well, the level at which you can contribute, the people who value, right, your skills, your abilities at that level will be interested, right, in what you have. But when you want greater level of impact, greater level of contribution, when you see greater reward, particularly in the world of business, let me just put it straight, right? When people want the bottom line to grow and expand, what I want you to start exploring is, who else can we serve? What else can we serve them with, right? Is that, what journey are people going on, and how can you contribute to them? And so that question will lead you to then say, what do you have within yourself? What skills do you, right? An internal inventory of your skills, your capacity, your qualifications, right? What else can you bring to the table? What else can you bring forward, right? From your inner quantum, from your inner self, right? What else can you bring into the outer world where other people can explore and say, is this useful to me? Can I make use of this, right? Is it helpful? So that's one of the reasons why exploring your inner world, the things that you carry that other people need, that can make other people's life better, that's where the secret to success is. And what I've also said is, you can actually develop new skills, you can actually improve existing skills, you can actually learn how to communicate those skills with the world and connect more with other people. Okay? A couple of things to also know is that how you treat yourself, right, is how other people, it's a mirror, other people will treat you. So when we start going into the concept of self-love, self-respect, self-dignity, all of those things, is that most people that are not investing in themselves, they often desire a certain way of people treating them, right? Is that this concept of complaining is that if you find yourself dissatisfied, okay, with how others might perceive you, my recommendation is, look within yourself first. Because again, most people want to say other people, right? Is that there's this, design, quantum leap human design, is that once you understand the way you are really created, not the way you think you function, but I'm saying the way you're actually designed to function, is that other people mirror your internal state of being. So whenever you see external realities not mirroring your desires, the first place to check is within you, is, have you actually given yourself that respect, right? Have you handled yourself in the way you want other people to handle you? Do you see yourself? Do you see your inner wealth? Do you see your inner capacity? Do you see your ability to contribute? Because it is with that you negotiate, right, with the world. Is that what you know, what you carry, who you are. And in the advanced side, when I talk about the human mind that functions like a quantum computer, is that all of your programming, your central nervous system, programming, internal beliefs, value system, is actually exposed in the world that we live in, where we assess each other. We assess each other in many dynamics, right? And one of those dynamics is perception, right? It may not be reality, but you're living in a world that other people's system, design, story, internal stories, they also use it to assess other people, right? And so one of the incredible things you can do and take responsibility of is telling your own story, right? If you're not satisfied with how, right, people perceive you, then it may be because you've misinformed them or you've not, right, educated people. And this will take you more into the world of branding. Many times, entrepreneurs may question or may not invest enough in branding. Is that when you don't brand, okay, people will assess you using their own internal stories because you haven't enlightened them, you haven't educated them, you haven't brought your own story forward. So there's no vacuum. So it's either you do a fantastic job of first understanding yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What do you want? What can you do for other people? What do you want to bring into the world, or what have you brought into the world? How can you contribute to other people? If you don't do that internal, because it's internal work to understand yourself, and then to attempt to say, okay, what do you want other people to know about you? What don't they know that they need to know? What abilities do you have that they don't know of? Right? It takes a lot of investment to actually craft your own story in a way that when people interact with you, right, they can read your own story instead of bringing their own existing narrative, which is always filled with assumptions, right? It's always, and that's perception. Assumptions lead to perception. How I perceive you may not be true, but it's all I have, right? It's all the information I have within me. It's all the knowledge I have within me that I'm going to use to perceive the world, perceive you. But if you want me to perceive you differently than the knowledge I have, then you have to introduce new narrative that I can explore and then seek to interpret and understand how to relate with you. So branding is extremely important because you are offering your own inner story, right, to the world versus being a recipient of existing story, right? When you want your own distinct identity, when you want people to see you for who you are, not who they think you are, then it's your duty to tell your story. It's your duty to represent yourself. It's your duty, okay, to enlighten the world, to educate the world about you. And if you don't do it, I say don't complain when you hear other stories that you're going, where did you get that from, right? Right? So it's that many times people don't do, it's like when we talk about this investments in building brands, identity, all of those things, marketing, sales, all of those things, many times people may not know why. Well, the reason is if you don't give someone or the world, right, information and knowledge about who you are, well, existing knowledge will be used to assess, right? Everybody needs information in terms of how to build relationships with one another. So branding allows you to enlighten the world with your own beliefs, your own value system, and then you can use it to then attract people, right, who value your stories, right? Because also in the energetic world, we connect heart to heart, mind to mind. And one of the things I tell my students is that the people who love your stories, right, who love to listen to your stories, will enjoy hanging out with you. That's how we build community and culture, is that the stories you have to share, the knowledge you embody, in of itself is the most magnetic side of you, because we think in stories, we are wired for stories, we are moved by stories, we vibrate based on knowledge and information, and an energetic being, okay, is always seeking stories that bring us the same inner reality that we desire. So desire is also driven by stories. Is that there's a longing for us to experience one another through stories, through the journey of life, right? And so we desire that. And so if you carry the right story that inspires people, motivates people, enlightens people, educate people, equip people, then trust me, that's of incredible value in the world that we live in. Okay? So again, how you treat yourself, work on that, self-love, self-respect, what you've given to yourself, right, is what will drive, right, how other people mirror your own behavior, and they give to you who you say you are. It's one of the laws that govern success, is that don't ask people to give to you what you haven't given to yourself. It doesn't even work, right? Because when we start unpacking your central nervous system, frequency, the setup, all of those things, you realize that even your vibrational frequency of how you move through life, the encoding of who you are is energetic, and in of itself is also magnetic, and humans connect at that magnetic state. Okay? So Inner work is important to expose your stories and also to attract those who want to share in your stories. Also, when we talk about the magnetic side, right, is that stories, desires are magnetic, and your inner state is where if you shift your beliefs, if you shift your inner stories, you are actually going to be shifting your outer world as well. Is that when we talk about low frequency, high level, high frequency, is that there are certain stories that is beneath our original design. And so part of inner work is to constantly be aware of your pattern of thinking, your pattern of behavior, your belief system, how they help you rise to a state of creativity, productivity, or how they might impact you, taking you to a level of, low vibration. You also want to then say, okay, out in the world, as you relate with people, when you engage with high vibrating people, people who have high belief in positivity, higher state of having a sense of greater possibility in the world, they lift your spirit up. They make you think that things are possible. They contribute to your, they give you hope. And in a way, they charge you up to achieve progress for yourself. And that is quite expensive because, that high vibrating energetic state is what is most expensive in the world. People think it's money. No, it's your ability to lift yourself and then be able to also inspire other people to rise up to our highest state of being, where we can contribute positivity and lift the world higher. That is that's what everybody's looking for. Productivity, creativity emerges, from passion, from joy, from this concept of having a vision of a greater tomorrow where you can bring people together to create that future. It takes a lot of creative energy to build a company, to build a business, to build communities, to create positive things. That actually, it's kind of like, it requires a lot of power, people who have to be powered into creation. And so the world that we live in today, we have to always remember that, are you living people in a high positive state, or the words, thoughts, right, vibration you're carrying around, is it leaving you and others to go, you know what, it's the government, it's the you know what I'm talking about, is that, there are some conversations you don't want to be a part of. That when you leave those conversations, you're like, okay, let's go and pump out, you have to activate yourself to a higher vibration again. But so be aware of that, where your pattern of thinking or other people in your community, right? How do you inspire more people? How do you drive motivation? Those are high energetic states of believing, right? Is that how we tell stories, and the stories we tell, how do those stories also make us feel, and what emotions do they activate in us? So let me quickly just share this relationship between inner state of being, beliefs, stories, right? Which really drives the world of spirituality. Is that the world of spirituality is about knowledge and power. And when you operate from that state, it is supposed to, okay, I'm not saying it always does, because many people may not have the knowledge, right? Is that it is supposed to lift your spirit, right? The truth will make you feel, right? The truth of your being, of who you are. When somebody tells you a story about love, right? Those stories lift you up. That's the power of spirituality. Is that, where do you get hope from? Where do you get faith from? Where do you get the types of stories that makes you never to give up, that gives you hope, that makes you not despair, that makes you get up again and show up to your business? And no matter how you are kicked around, you wake up and you say, you know what, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be better. Is that the science of spirituality allows you to take the intangible, okay, concept of stories in a narrative, how you think, how you comprehend. Those stories are rich because they translate to power, right? They give you energy, right? They propel us forward. Spirituality, when done right, gives you a drive, a reason to keep on doing what you're called to do. Because not every day are you going to see exactly what you were hoping to see. So spirituality allows you to be passionate because you are driving a vision that is bigger, that has a bigger meaning to it, right? Maybe on behalf of humanity, on behalf of your city, something bigger than you can only come out of a belief that is very, very strong, that is quite spiritual in nature about moving the world forward. Now, all of those internal stories has impact on our physical well-being, right? Is that your internal state of being and stories that you are processing and where you're focusing your mind on, they have this scientific effect on the state of our cells, our central nervous system, our endocrine system, the hormones that we pack. And that's where those two worlds combine, is that people who live in stress mode, where the information they are processing and their energetic state is highly negative, that mode, internal state, if they don't lift themselves up energetically, okay, what impact is it having on their cells, on their physical health, right? On the hormones that is produced? Those are the things that the science of spirituality and well-being and wealth and relationships, if we can start enlightening ourselves on, because that's an area we have built a lot of information and programs and classes and courses on. Because as an entrepreneur, when you can understand those two sides, once you know that your internal beliefs, values, what you're focusing on, right, has an effect on your physical health, well, guess what? If you can control this, right, if you can think clearly, if you can put yourself in the right spaces, if you can nurture your thoughts and anger with the right people, suddenly you can improve your cellular nature, okay, the state of yourselves. So let me just quickly share as I start wrapping up. I just wanted to think about the fact that you have a power system, right? I have my notes here. You have a power system. I've written articles on what's the frequency of your power, because out of power, physics, power, right, produces energy in time, okay? So when you want to do something, when you want to achieve something, well, within you, you will it, you desire it, right? And you energize it, okay? What do you want for dinner? What do you want to build, right? Once you have a vision, once you know what it is that you desire, then you are releasing energy within yourself, the ability to do work, and your body will consume the energy you release, right? You eat food, you store energy. The consumption of the energy is when your body is doing things for you, but you are the one that drives, right, and determines what do you want to do, where do you want to go. Is that how you think and your desires, inner desires, is the input on what action your body will take. Other people too can give you their own desires, and if you love them and if you like them, your body, you can do things on behalf of the people you love, right? So desire, though, is the activator of action. So you have the power side, then out of power comes your energetic state, energy produced in time, right? The permission to consume energy. Now, once you start moving into the natural state now, you then have an electrical system, okay? Your central nervous system that charges your muscular system, okay, is that it carries charged ions, energetic states, right? And they move at a frequency. So when we start talking about high frequency, low frequency, all of that, I'm just giving you a very great overview, something to start chewing and processing, right? So you have in the physical, your central nervous system is electrical. It charges your muscular system, but it also carries the instruction, the charged energy of what your muscles should do, okay? Now you also have a chemical system, okay? Chemical energy is produced by your endocrine systems, that receives instructions and then knows what chemicals to produce. But those chemicals, they are loaded with energy to feed your cells, right? And so your hormones, there are things that happen automatically for you, but the ones that happen because of the instruction of what you desire is influenced by your thoughts, right? And so you also produce unique emotions based on the information you're processing, the things you're thinking about, your belief system, the stories you carry that you're about to manifest and produce, and your endocrine system then releases the equivalent, right, energetic chemicals into your bloodstream, and then you have receptors on your cells that receives them, and then, right, opens up and receives the energy, and then it's like, yes, that's the reward of the work. So there's a lot of science. When I teach science of spirituality, is trying to help people connect the fact that your feelings and emotions is an expression of your inner state. It can also be how you interact and intersect with other people, human to human interface. I call it human to, we talk about computer human interface. Well, when humans do life together, the information we share, okay, our being processes it as feelings and emotions as well. That's how we store information in the natural state. So there's a lot to unpack there, but I hope today's sessions have been very meaningful. So I invite you to head over to toyin.umesiri.academy if you would like to dive deeper into my classes. There's a lot of great insights, great breakthrough on human transformation. Is that once you take full responsibility and you understand that when you shift internally, your entire world, the entire world around you will also shift to accommodate your new state. So thank you so much for joining today's Quantum Leap episode. You're joining me here in Aurora. This broadcast live to around the world on my social media, and also it's also broadcast on the TV show here, Aurora Community Television. So thank you to the Aurora team for helping pull this off. I would love to hear from you. Do reach out, drop a comment. I'll be looking out for that as well. If there's also any other topic you want to learn more about, reach out. I would love to respond to that. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye.